welcome. Welcome to the Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Reverend Kristen Kephart, and I'm the Spiritual Director and Senior Minister here. Currently, we are 100% virtual, which means all of our offerings are online. So please check out our website for up-to-date information. And if you're new to our community, please know that we are radically inclusive and spiritually progressive. Radically inclusive means that everyone is welcome. So if you've ever felt that you were turned away from a religious organization or a spiritual organization because you were different, or turned away because you didn't feel like you were being accepted for who you are, please check out our website and find out what we believe and who we are, and see if it's a good connection and a good match. If so, then reach out and we'd be happy to explore more with you. This month of November, we are talking about living as compassionate conduits. Living as compassionate beings, not only for ourselves, but for everything else and everyone else on this planet, our brothers, our sisters, and our siblings. What would it be like to choose to live a life of being compassionate? What would that look like? Anyway, that's what we're doing this month. I'm excited that you're here for service. It's great to be here with you. And right now I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer Russell and Michael Gale as we open up in sweet surrender. So if you're feeling up to it, if you're feeling the groove and the move, like we're all together in one room, stand up, dance, and sing. Take it away, Jennifer and Michael.
Good morning, Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living. It's so wonderful to be with you today. I'm Jennifer Russell.
I'm Michael Gale.
And we are delighted to be sharing this time with you. Let's start by opening our hearts in sweet surrender. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. Oh, and if you would just join me by putting your hand on your heart and recognizing this beautiful center of the universe that is the power and the presence and the love of your divinity. There is only one intelligence acting here. There is no other. And let's just open our hearts in deep compassion to ourselves for a moment here. And I love you. I adore you. And let's open up our hearts to each other. I recognize you. I see you. You are the light of the world. You are a conduit of compassion.
Okay, the poinsettias are starting to bloom. This is known as the poinsettia wall in Camarillo. Look at all those colors starting to pop. A few more weeks and it'll be solid red. So I get the opportunity to do our affirmation this morning. As I change my thoughts and beliefs, the world around me changes. My mind is the mind of God itself. As I change my thoughts and beliefs, the world around me changes. My mind is the mind of God itself. And how good it is to know this truth. So another view of these beautiful flowers. I open this service up today, invoking spirit into this place, right here and right now. I am so grateful for the creativity and the beauty. I know that the music and the sound and the message all is perfection. It's in the perfection, and what we need to hear, we hear, and what we need to see, we see. I'm so grateful for the Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living. I'm so grateful for the congregants of the Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living as we continue to grow and expand and love and be compassionate human beings in this thing called life. This thing called life, that there's awe everywhere we look. There's beauty everywhere we look. So we open the service knowing it is filled with love, it is filled with compassion, it is filled with joy. And join me in saying, and so it is. Amen.
This month we're celebrating the Bodhisattva, beloved Kuan Yin. Her temple of mercy is open. That means she is radiating mercy's love through the entire planet. So we're going to be celebrating with her mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. And I love the definition that was given of this mantra from the Sophia Code by Kaya Ra. Is Om. It's a sound of creation coming into form. Om clears your mind of all self-hating thoughts and resonates your awareness with the high frequency truth that you are a sovereign creator. Mani means the jewel is you. Every facet of your whole divine self already exists right now as you are. Padme means the lotus, and it represents your body awakening as a vehicle of your higher self. And Hum is a sound of compassion that clears all of your suffering through all of your lifetimes by honoring the totality of your true nature. So beautiful. Karuna, compassion. Om mani padme hum. 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 Hum. Om mani padme 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 hum.
I get the honor of being able to talk today here at the Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living. And I am so delighted that you are able to join us. I'm going to tell you a little story. The little story is about a kindergarten teacher who set up an assignment and asked the kids to draw pictures. And the kids were drawing pictures, and she was walking around seeing what the art the kids were creating. But there was this one little girl that was so passionate and so into what she was doing that the teacher went up to her and said, "What are you drawing?" And the little girl said, "I'm drawing God." And the teacher said, "But sweetie, no one actually knows what God looks like." And with the conviction in this little girl's heart, she replied back like automatically, "Well then, they will certainly know in a minute. They will certainly know in a minute." What you know, you know. What she knows, and it brings her passion and excitement, and it creates this vessel for God to work through you and God to work through me, and especially in the example, that little girl. So this whole month of December, we've been talking about living as compassionate conduits and what that means. And in order to live from that space, we need to know more about ourselves. We need to continue to learn more about spirit. We need to continue to know more and reveal more about spirit within, or the divine within, or God within, whatever the label is for you, what resonates for you, insert it there. And today we're talking about the art of motivating, the art of motivation. This is the art of motivation for ourselves. And at times, it can be difficult to motivate ourselves to go out and do what we have intended to do. So motivation is what happens when we turn our ideas into action, and it keeps us moving towards our goals. Okay? And in this time where we have a pandemic going on, it is, and they've named it COVID fatigue, where we have this, oh my gosh, it's still going on. Like, when is it going to end? I've already been doing this for 6 months, 10 months, however long. That we get in this place where we fight or we flight or we say, I'm done with it, and, you go on your way, or you continue to maintain the course and wear your mask and limit your exposure out in the world. And at the same time, that can bring like a gray cloud over motivation. So we have to remain strong and remember, so we don't we don't just let the days go by, because we are here to be compassionate, loving vessels for God to shine out in the world. So we show up as we know how to show up. Even if you aren't going anywhere, your energy, the way that you show up, changes the world. So Ernest Holmes had this to say: the responsibility of setting the law in motion is ours. We should sense that back of the word which we speak is the power of the universe, surging to express itself. So in the surging to express itself, we, the individual, has to turn the switch on. We turn the switch on and go, oh, it's on. I remember. When in actuality, it's always on, but we have to speak into it for it to activate and bring forth our intentions and what we're working towards. So God, Spirit, the divine, is inherently neutral. So it is a field of infinite possibilities where everything happens in the cycle of seasons, the biological rhythm of our bodies, birth and death, the pure awareness or consciousness, its pure potential, which manifests through all things. But it does not do so of its own volition. So that's like the turning on the switch I was just talking about. The process is set in motion, the turning on the switch, by our thoughts and our emotions, whether conscious or unconscious, individuals or collective. God does not act until we do. So what do we need to do? First, we need to get sourced up. Sourced up and remembering that I have my small self, this individual self, but I also have this big S self, this self that's bigger, this self that is the divine within me. And it is one thing. I, Kristen, am a one thing. I am part of the one because there is only one thing. So instead of me going, oh, what I think doesn't matter, what I believe in doesn't matter, that I reactivate that and I get confident in what I know and what I believe, and it sets me to get in the motivation to make things happen, to become an active body working towards our common goal. And here in Centers for Spiritual Living, our common goal is to live in a world that works for everyone, which is a huge mission, huge vision. And there are multiple steps to it. But as I step forth and my world is working for me and I am sharing my gifts with humanity out there, one by one, or by groups of 10,000, the consciousness raises and change happens, getting us closer and closer and closer to that vision. Ernest Holmes had this to say: since the law is mental, one must believe in it in order to have it work affirmatively for him or her. But it is always working according to his or her beliefs. Whether he or she is conscious of this truth or not, demonstration takes place through the field of the one universal mind. We set the power in motion, the law produces the effect, we plant the seed, and the law produces the plant. That's one. Next thing we need to do is get focused. Get focused and think it, feel it, and believe it. Because our consciousness or our unconsciousness and our thoughts, if we keep them constantly pointing towards what we want in our lives or what we want to come manifest in the world, that it becomes in our unconscious, that we continually to speak it forth. So we need to set an intention. And what is that intention? And then we need to spend every day sitting in and feeling what we desire. And we do that through prayer, meditation, or visioning. And if it feels so far-fetched, change your intention or see it, believe it, imagine it as if it were happening right now, right here and now. And as you continue to work it, you work it and work it and work it, the feelings of disbelief start to vanish. And they start being replaced of the desired outcome that you want, and it brings it into existence. So, it is this conscious state that sets the law of manifestation into motion. Feeling always precedes the demonstration. Ernest Holmes would say, somebody can say words and words and words in prayer, but the number one thing behind it, or the thing that pushes it out and just pushes it out there into the universe, is feeling. Once you can feel it, you can believe it. And sit and spend time doing that. Talked about Ernest Holmes a lot today, so now I'm going to bring in Socrates. So we go farther back in history. This is not something new that has just shown up in the last couple of hundred years. So Socrates had to say, to move the world, we must first move ourselves. We must move ourselves. So the next thing we need is to get divine direction, to get it and act upon it, to bring it forth. Taking that action that was divinely inspired within you and setting an intention with it takes it from fantasy and helps. It almost reminds me of those old bank tubes 100 million years ago when we go to the bank and you get a tube and you put the information in. So I put my deposit slips in. I put my checks in for deposit in this tube. And I have set the intention that abundance is here. So I put it in the tube, and as soon as I put it in the vacuum thing that just goes and takes it away, the manifestation, the desired outcomes are already here. Because my intention was, I put it in the tube, and the law brings it into manifestation. Follow your inner guidance. There is a voice within you. There's an intuition within each and every one of us. Use it so you can make decisions that bring you inspiration, that bring you into a place where you're motivated. This motivation continues, so you are inspired to keep it moving, keep it moving. And when we're following God's guidance, when we're doing things that we're called into our lives to do, it's effortless and it's fun. It is so lovely to have a job, a career that is fun for me, because I finally, after 50 years, stepped into something that I was truly called to do, which is ministry. And yes, there are times where it's bumpy, but it is effortless and fun. We set the intention, we feel it, we believe it, and we bring it into manifestation. In this time that we're in, if you are not feeling inspired, if you are not feeling motivated, go within, go sit in a quiet place and go within, and ask yourself a question. What would bring me joy right here and right now? And I did this a couple weeks ago because I had let go of my art in my life. I like to be crafty. I like to be doing stuff with my hands. And I just have been so busy doing other stuff that I have not carved out any time for things like that in my life. So I sat and I just asked myself, what would bring me joy? What is there a project that I can do for myself that would bring me joy? And oddly enough, what came up is about 30 years ago, I was gifted this chest, and it was locked for, 25 of the 30 years. And I did a talk on it many, many years ago of what's inside the case, because it was never open. It was gifted to me. I knew it rattled and shook, but I had no idea what was in it. Anyway, it has now been sitting for, now that it's been open, another 5 years, and I haven't done anything with it. And what came out of that, what would bring me joy, is to restore that trunk. And when you open it up, it's one of the old style ones that have the drawers on one side, It has some hangers, but it's an old-fashioned giant trunk. So I wrote it down when I came out of this meditative state. And then the next day I just picked up and went, what would be the first step for that? What would be the first step? And I go, I go to my usual source, Google, and I Googled restoring a antique trunk. And then I got some information, and then actually the excitement started to build. The motivation to do something with it started to build, because I could actually see the end product, the bringing the thing into manifestation, 100% restored. And doing it with my own hands. And doing it in a time where I have more and more time where I'm alone. So that's what I am bringing forth as one of my projects that I will share with you as I go down the journey of what it looks like. According to Google, it's possible. And I'm sure there's going to be some YouTube videos on how to strip it and do all this other stuff. But I am motivated and excited to take that on. And I can fit it into my schedule. That's another thing. If we continue to say, I'm so busy with my work, I'm so busy taking care of the kids, I'm so busy. If your individual soul is not fed and you aren't recharged by the divine that lives and moves and runs and just pours out of you, you don't have anything to give. So carve out your time on a calendar. What I'm doing is carving out on my day off 3 hours. So to sum this up, our intention is the starting point where everything takes place in the universe. So no matter how big or how small it is, every intention we set in the mind of the one itself. So I have my big, grand intention, the vision of living in a world that works for everyone. And as I go through my days and I walk through, I'm in the mindset of that's what I'm looking for out in the world. And when I don't see it, and if it feels like a good fit for me, I step in and I engage to see is there anything that is mine to do to help bring that vision forth. And on how small, taking care of self-care for myself and setting an intention that I'm going to work on this trunk and do this trunk. But I'm doing it for me. I'm feeding the divine within me. I'm feeding that creativity that is within each and every one of us. So, harness up the divine. Harness the power. Take as much as you want because you can't outtake it. There is enough for everyone. And we do that in a few simple ways. Number 1, center yourself and go within. Start with 5 minutes and sit in the quiet. Turn off your cell phone and sit and just listen. Listen, because that is where all possibilities lie. So listen to your divine voice within. Number 2, set intentions for what you wish to manifest in the world in a form so you can feel it, think it, and bring it into the world. And number 3, let go and let God handle the details. Because it's on God's time, it's on the divine's time of when it comes forth and as actually comes into our world. And lastly, follow your intuition. and live as if it already is there. Live it, breathe it, be it, and it will show up. God is only motivated. Spirit, the divine, is only ever motivated if you step in. If you step in and create it through motivation, through creativity. So the art of motivation. Continuing to keep ourselves motivated and moving forward in a time where some of us feel that we're just sitting still. We can still continue to manifest and be in this time. So join me in that. Come on an adventure with me and then share what you've manifested. All right, that's it for today. So join me in prayer. Put your feet on the floor. Keep your eyes open, closed. Whatever works best for you. Prayer works anyway. And here at the Centers for Spiritual Living, we do affirmative prayer. There's 5 steps. First step. God is. There is only one thing happening here and right now, and always is God. God is the one. It's the oneness of the allness. It is it. It's the universe. And what I know is that each of us were birthed from that source of God. So we are connected. We are connected. We are compassionate conduits as we walk through our lives. That connection with Spirit is closer than my breath. That we recognize that closeness, that I am it, you are it. And we're in joy and the beauty of what that is and how it comes forth and into my life and into your life. So what I know here today, and I continue to hold for you all, as well as myself, is that we are compassionate conduits. That we show up on this planet knowing that we are so unique, that we are here for a purpose. And that everyone we come in contact with, we know that that's our brother, our sister, our sibling. And we respect that and we honor that. And we continue to bring love and understanding into the world. We see it. We believe it. We are it. That's what I know for each one of us. Step 4. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to have this teaching, to have the affirmative prayer. So I know how to use my voice to speak it out into the universe so it can be manifested. I am so full of gratitude for this week that's coming up, that's Thanksgiving, that is probably going to look different for each and every one of us. But I am so grateful to be able to have a meal with myself or a meal with the family that I am with. I am so grateful. I'm grateful for the breath that I'm able to breathe and be a conscious being in this thing that we call life. And lastly, this is the point where we let it go. Step 5 is to let go. So I simply release this prayer into the law, because the law is the one that does the work and it manifests. So I know right here and right now that prayer is already activated and in action. I don't continue to worry about it and be it, because it is happening now. My good is my God and my God is my good. And it is good, people. It is good. We just let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be. And together, join me in saying, and so it is. Amen. Please know that you're loved, honored, and seen here at the Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living. You are the Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living, and I look forward to interacting with you and seeing you next week, actually seeing you next Saturday at the Coat Drive. We'll be continually sending out emails and texts to remind you, because we have some unhoused youth out there that could really use a warm coat this year. So with that, be well. Now it's time for conscious giving. We give so it allows us to receive. And we give to places that spiritually feed us. So I'm asking you today that if you've already sent in a tithe or a gift to the Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living, thank you. If you have an intention that you are going to send in a gift to the Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living, thank you. What I'd like to do today is we make a commitment together. So hold out your hands, the cup in a cup of your hands, and think in your mind and just listen for that amount that comes to you from your divine self, and that amount that comes to you to give to the Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living. Consciously blow that amount into the cup of your hands. With that commitment secured, place it on your heart and join me in speaking the affirmation. This gift I give is God in action. I send it forth with joy, confidence, and ease. I am blessed by the law of giving and receiving, as I now share my good with life, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. One more time. This gift I give is God in action. I send it forth with joy, confidence, and ease. I am blessed by the law of giving and receiving, as I now share my good with life, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And if you are wondering how to give to the Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living, now that you've made that commitment, please know there are multiple ways. You can send in monies to our P.O. Box at 2360, Camarillo, California, 93011. You can sign up for our Text to Give program. It's easy to set up, and going forward, it's a breeze. It is a dedicated phone line, text line, just for the center. And lastly, you can donate using PayPal. All the information is in the chat box as well, so you can click the link. And you can also find all this information on the website. And I just say thank you, thank you, thank you for supporting the Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living. Blessings.
Oh, it has been wonderful to be with you today. Thank you, Reverend Kristen, for that wonderful message, and thank you, beloved practitioners, for always holding us in the heart of prayer. So let's celebrate by singing this song together. Something wonderful is happening through me right now, through you. Definitely. Here we go. Come on, let's dance. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. Something wonderful. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. Something wonderful. It's happening through my mind. It's happening to my body. Right here in my heart. wonderful is happening through you right now. Something wonderful is happening through our minds. It's happening through our bodies, right here in our hearts. We let it be. Something wonderful. Something wonderful. Something wonderful.